Conclusion, new experimental alternative technology will take its place. Well, she's actually correct, but just not right away. And this is where you see so often in astrological prediction, the archetype is activated like the original United Nations, the League of Nations. And we'll be in a land of bliss and harmony, and all people will come together with their olive branches, and it will be great. Well, there was a League of Nations, and it did improve. But there's also everything else going on at the same time. So here we are, just coming off what we thought was so grand, and here's little Hillary on stage, and it's just doing this thing and doing this and thing. People think, oh, this is just so wonderful, and this should just easily continue. So, WTF, what the fire truck happened? We're thinking. That we have great clarity on. After this mini hippie phase, as in the 60s, cometh the yuppies. Yeah, the yuppies. It's a Yang-Yin cycle. It's not even an astrological cycle. It's a Yang-Yin cycle. It is an astrological cycle. This is amazing. I'm not going to get into this little argument with people, but where do you think the zodiac comes from? People are going to say the constellations, which is Easter and all this. No, the zodiac derives from Taoism. And it's astonishing. I've seen almost no commentary on this. Everyone's familiar with at least some of the astrological signs, but there's fire, earth, air, and water signs, like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, like that. The one becomes two in the yang and yin symbol, this duality in the unity symbol. Out of the yang comes fire and air. Out of the yin comes earth and water. The two become four. And just like yang and yin are present everywhere in the universe, this is hard, this is soft, hot, cold, everywhere, so are the four elements of fire, earth, air, and water. They're not located this way, this way, this way around us. They're universally present everywhere because they're the next step down from the yang and the yin. And from the fire and air, each go three ways to make the 12 signs, because there's 3 fire, 3 earth, 3 air, 3 water. It's a very important concept. We become what we fight against. I'll never get a postage stamp. The first I thought was so funny. Post office issued it. On this stamp were the words, "Fight violence." Take it out into the back alley, beat the crap out of it. Break its knees, do whatever you take, fight violence. The irony of that statement is kind of absurd, fight violence, okay? So we become what we fight against. Those hippies in the 60s became the yuppies of the 70s, right? Limousine liberals, they're now called. And yes, there's different values on each side, but in the Clinton emails, the most shocking thing that stunned this very famous, can't remember his name, Democratic pro-reporter, and all these tens of thousands of emails. It's not this scandal, not some money laundering, not some Russian thing, not that. You know what the most shocking and disturbing thing for him was? 95% of them were about, get my kid a promotion, I have a friend that needs a job, meet me on Martha's Vineyard, we're going to set this up. It was all self-promotion. 95% of those emails were about, get a job, do this and all this. Both sides are dysfunctional. I got news for you. Limousine liberals. There's a wonderful book that came out, The Dictator's Handbook, subtitled Why Bad Behavior is Almost Always Good Politics, by Bruce Bueno de Mesquita and Alistair Smith. And here's the review of the book. For 18 years, Bruce Bueno de Mesquita and Alistair Smith have been part of a team revolutionizing the study of politics by turning conventional wisdom on its head. They start from a single assertion. Leaders do whatever keeps them in power. Period. They don't care about the national interest or even their subjects unless they have to. This clever and accessible book shows the difference between tyrants and Democrats is just a convenient fiction. Yeah. Governments do not differ in kind, but only in the number of essential supporters or backs that need scratching. The size of the group determines almost everything about politics, what leaders can get away with, and the quality of life or the misery of life under them. Now that's pretty extreme, but it's also pretty accurate. Yeah. This is going to change when Pluto goes into Aquarius in 2024. And you'll already start feeling the bits of it as it goes into there now, because people in 20 will go, hell no. We're done with both sides. You know, it's an amazing thing to me. You see these people that are supposed to really be assisting the poor and undercouraged. 10 million here, 20 million here, another 20 million here, another 20 million here. Can we just spread a little out, just, you know, just for the sake of it, on both sides? Pluto is part of a larger cycle. Remember, it's squaring Uranus from approximately 2012 to 2015, which we just left the mini hippie revolution. We're in the yuppie phase now, okay? Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn from 2008 to 2024, when it will go into Aquarius. Most astrologers predicted Hillary Clinton would win. After all, why wouldn't the momentum just continue on? They were wrong in their prediction because they were biased. People don't like to admit they're biased. You're looking at this astrological chart, and because it has this symbology of top and bottom, there are so many ways you can express it. I never tell people what they can do with their chart. I give them the options, and it's your choice. Be the criminal, be the cop, or be both at the same time. That's your choice, not mine. It's your car you're driving. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this bias, they would tend to see and not see certain things. Oh, Hillary's a shoo-in, a shoo-in. What a shock, except for Janet Smith. Little energy healer. She hardly ever predicts anything, but I'll never forget the one Monday. We were just talking. She goes, oh, you know, Japan's going to have this big-ass earthquake Friday. We go lunch Friday. I go, really? Yeah, my spirit guides or whoever she uses. My little spirit angels say Japan's going to have this tremendous quake Friday. And in time, this kind of sequence is going to roll over and hit the northwest coast. State of Washington and all this, where that huge subduction fault is bigger than California. She goes, but not now, but they'll let me know when it happens. And sure enough, Friday, boom, there you go. I had predicted Trump would win the presidency too, but not by looking at his chart. I didn't look at his chart. Clients I had, so we had a lot of oil business people in Oklahoma. Clients I have, I'm just looking at the rest going, wow, Trump's going to be president. Why? Because only with Trump being president could your chart work. See what I mean? It was a secondary effect. Wow. I saw the oil improving, these rates going up, all these things just rolled into one. It's like, wow, Trump's going to be president. It's like I had a client many years ago, the first Bush number one, not Bushy Jr., but Bush number one, and we were looking this way early in the rest. I go, wow, Bush is going to be president. And she goes, really? She goes, yeah, because that's the only way your chart will work. She was very high in the Republican Party, and they wanted her to go to the East Coast in Washington and participate in Republican activity. Wow, Bush was going to be president, and he was. Not because of looking at their charts, from these peripheral side effects, right? That's why you often see when someone dies, it shows up more in the people around them than the person dying, because death is not a deal whatsoever. So Janice will let us know when Washington goes. Under Pluto and Capricorn, it's this most concentrated point of power in the chart, intense transformation. It's the higher octave of Mars. So if Mars is your warrior, this is Darth Vader. Really strong and intense. In fact, all the Star Wars movies were Pluto-based movies, as is The Godfather. Very intense power. We are repeating, here's the interesting thing, and this is from 2016 to 2024. We are repeating the time cycle of Hitler's ascent to power and domination of Germany.
Oh my God.
We are, cheer you up. We're currently repeating the time period of approximately 1923 to 1939. It's a shorter time this time around. It's only 8 years. That's about what? Yeah, it's about 16, twice as much. Hitler was during the last waxing square, the last quarter phase. In the 30s, Uranus and Pluto had joined in the 1850s to pop, and had that last quarter turn, which was the 30s. And that, what they call the waning square, at the end, it's like these storms that just go to hell, that just dump it all. Just release it, all like that. Because if you don't resolve the issues that are all been piling up, it's just like, just dump it and see what happens. And we're going to have that again, by the way, in 2072 to 2074, which if we don't resolve enough issues, that's World War III. I mean, we couldn't have World War III. Trump couldn't be president either, right? No. I think we're going to resolve it. I'm very optimistic about the future. So a friend of mine, I was discussing this, and he goes, that cannot even be possible. That's just the most absurd thing I've heard, that this, right now, 2016 to 2024, is repeating this Hitler fascist thing. And of course I said, well, you know, Trump is Hitler-light. I'm not anti-Trump or hating Trump, but I go, he's Hitler-light. He goes, this is the most absurd thing. Really? So from the book, The Rise of Hitler. There's a quote from the book, The Rise of Hitler. A few days before Christmas 1924, Adolf Hitler emerged a free man after 9 months in prison. He'd been given a 5-year term, because up to this time, Hitler wanted to try to literally, physically overthrow Germany. Literally. Wars, guns, the whole shtick. They have these great fights and riots through all these beer halls in Germany. Their beer halls are so big, you can put like 2,000 people in some of them. And it's like, that's a good way to live. Go to work, then everyone just go to the beer hall. You know, here we got 1,000 people just drinking and singing and all this. And they tried this great revolution. It didn't work. He was thrown in prison, right? Having learned from his mistakes. In addition to creating the book Mein Kampf, his struggle, Hitler had given considerable thought to the failed Nazi revolution, his beer hall push they call it, which means like a coup d'etat, of November 1923, and its implications for the future. He now realized it had been premature to attempt to overthrow the democratic government by force without the support of the German army and other established institutions. He was determined not to make that mistake again. Okay? Now, no matter how much his Nazi Party members wanted action taken against the young German Republic, remember it was the Weimar Republic, because after World War I they created the Democratic Republic of the Weimar Republic. It simply would not happen. He would not give in to them as he had done in November with disastrous results. Hitler had a new idea on how to topple the government and take over Germany for himself and the Nazis. Play by the democratic rules and get elected. Hitler's own quote, this is quoting Adolf, while still in prison. Instead of working to achieve power by an armed coup, we shall have to hold our noses and enter the Reichstag, which is like their parliament, against the Catholic and Marxist deputies. If outvoting them takes longer than outshooting them, at least the results will be guaranteed by their own constitution. Any lawful process is slow, but sooner or later we shall have a majority, and after that, Germany. Any reminiscence to today? So I refer to Trump as Hitler light, and I'm not saying he's like Hitler at all. I'm saying he's the archetype of this fascist Hitler. He's like Hitler light, okay? And you see this referencing in people. I just love watching people because they will literally speak these transits. We were in a Latin restaurant, 1492, and of course this radical hood I run with here, it's like always yapping with their politics. And the waiter comes over and he goes, "Trump is Adolf Hitler." You go, dude, you know, it's not actually Adolf Hitler, but you're saying he's Adolf Hitler. I mean, this is just people on the street start noticing this, right? In restaurants, in the news, on the street. And this issue of authoritarianism. Now, why is this important? Because authoritarianism is a form of social organization characterized by, of course, submission to authority. It's opposed to individualism, democracy, and politics. You have all extreme forms of it, from totalitarianism to dictatorship. But authoritarian populism is now dominant in the world, and has been with Pluto entering Capricorn. So what is authoritarian populism? The populist is like, you know, popular with all the people, just the big general people. Oh, we all want lower taxes. Oh, you all want jobs. Yeah, we'll get you jobs. We'll get you lower taxes. We'll do this. We'll do this. Well, you know, very, very popular. How are you going to do it? I have no idea. I'm just telling you. We'll get them. We'll get them. You'll have this. Very populist. So there has actually been an increase in populist figures throughout the West for many years now. In fact, it started in 2008. Contemporary authoritarian populism is nothing new. It has been suppressed. So while this progressive movement was occurring under Obama, and women's rights, and feminist rights, and legal rights, and disability rights, and same-sex rights, and the marijuana rights, and all this stuff was going, this was just sitting underneath cooking, okay? It has been suppressed. And I hate to point this out, but the more uneducated group of people you are, the more you are for authoritarian populism. They love we want a leader who answers to no one. Because people get frustrated, they get disturbed, they get agitated, and they go, just find someone to fix it. Just give them the authority, right? Just give them the authority. There are documentaries out now, and I know they've done this intentionally, and it's more than you might think. Many dictators at the time of Hitler as well throughout the world, remember that? Just like we have right now, Korea, Russia, Putin, South America, all over. Authoritarianism, populism has come up. Make Germany great again. You think, no, you mean USA, Jim. Make America great again. No, that was the #1 slogan prior to Hitler's rise to power. Make Germany great again.
Right.
Not America, make Germany great again. They lost World War I, they were total trash, total ghetto, in the total dumps. The Treaty of Versailles put all these restrictions on them. They were pissed off people. They wanted someone to just fix it. We'll give them the authority. And it occurred to me something so interesting. People go, why do the religious Christian people support Trump when he seemingly has some character deficiencies? Right? But these Christians, which is that Jesus thing the last time I recalled, support him so strongly because of the authority figure. Their religion is a religion where I'm not going to be responsible for my stuff. I'm just going to Savior to save me. And I don't have to do nothing. I'm going to let this authority figure, this great authority, save my ass. Well, you better have the right authority figure if you're going to go that approach.
Is that like the Antichrist?
Yeah, or any authority, but you better have the right authority figure, okay? So, back then, So, I mean, seriously, Trump's rallies, the press, the relationship with the press, the strong nationalism, the promise of economic growth, the hatred of outside groups, identical between 2016 and the time of Adolf Hitler. Back then it was the Jews and Bolsheviks, the Russians; today, Mexicans and Muslims. Nationalism, push them all out, build the wall, get them out. It's the exact same repeating archetypal pattern. So after explaining this to my friend, he was kind of shocked. Wow, that is way too close. Why do so many women support Trump? Have they not heard him speak? It's Pluto and Capricorn. And I'm not being critical of Trump, I'm just saying it's a pattern of the time. So I'm talking to this friend of mine who's very progressive in all this, and out of the blue, she makes a comment, "I'm getting sick and tired of all this political correctness." I'm like, really? I said, now, say that again? She goes, yeah, I'm just tired of all this political correctness crap. And I go, you mean the political correctness that gives you equal pay on a job with a man, and that gives you alimony payments and a divorce settlement, and gives you the right to vote? All that political correctness crap that goes on and on and on and on, you're just getting tired of that political correctness crap? Oh, yeah, people forget how it was. Women have not even had the vote for 100 years. We didn't give women the right to vote until 1920, you kidding? It's not even a 100-year-old thing. It's amazing. So, Hitler was part of this significant society called the Society for the Prevention of the Emancipation of Women. People don't believe that, but it's actually initiated, started for the prevention of the emancipation of women. Feminism Under the Third Reich, very interesting book. And note the similarity to our current time. Quote from the book, Feminism Under the Third Reich. Because the feminists were really active prior to the Third Reich. When the Weimar Republic formed, my God, it was a cry for citizenship with equal rights naturally developed. The cry was heard in 1918, 2 years even before we gave women the right to vote, when the creation of a new Weimar Republic granted voting rights to all citizens, okay, female as well as male. These events marked the first time in German history that women were given a significant part through suffrage and governmental positions in political life and therefore public life. The pro-feminist mood quickly altered in Germany, however, prior to and right at 1933, when Hitler and the Nazi Party gained power, dominating politics and interfering in both private and public spheres. Wanting to control Germany, the Nazis also wanted to control each individual's life within it. My point is, we're not at that point yet of 1933. People say, what do you mean? It's going to get Trumpier before it gets less Trumpier. You understand what I mean? In retrospect, the fact that women were the primary attendees of Nazi meetings seems contradictory to what is typically understood about Nazism, a macho ideology. However, moods were changing. And that opposite sign relating to Capricorn, just like today, and this woman making this statement, this political crap stuff, without even thinking, the collective mood was changing in the public, which clashed with the Weimar government and what many saw as deteriorating values. The Weimar Republic struggled against post-war economic hardships, generating political instability. People felt insecure due to the chaos around them, the economic chaos, the political chaos, and they blamed this new social movement stuff of socialism and feminism and new ideas as the problem. Many Germans were disgusted by what they viewed as the weakness of the Weimar Republic. It's just too weak. We want someone who can kick ass, that's strong, will take action. Just like we're seeing today. Just like this is why Trump was there. These ideas led to apathy and a mass feeling that the vote and the rights previously won were useless. Women start retreating from the feminist goals and start seeking organizations that would guarantee results. Now, despite the need for female labor in the factories, Nazi propaganda focused upon specific and quite horrifying population policies to increase the German birth rate. They wanted more soldiers. Bonuses and loans were given for couples that were promoting the Aryan race through good breeding. All birth control clinics and contraceptive cells were outlawed. Anyone see it? This included any conversation held or even advice given about birth control methods was outlawed. Propaganda advocating reproduction was aimed at men as well as women, leading to a high divorce rate among older women. New divorce laws encouraged the acceptability of a man abandoning his wife if she reached menopause in order to marry a young virile woman. If a woman could not reproduce, she was no longer a valuable citizen, as stated by a main Nazi policy. Quote, it's from the Nazi policy. Women who have passed childbearing age are of no further interest to the Nazi state. Alimony was rare. It was actually non-existent. For a woman could find work, she could support herself without her husband's assistance. This force